Hey y'all, it's your girl Cassandra. Thank you guys for stopping into my channel. I am with Pecan Porch Boutique and I have another Tales from the Thrift for y'all. But before we start on project number 1, I want to show you a couple things that I picked up from Goodwill and did off camera. I found this little 3-piece metal picture frame set at Goodwill and I thought it was so cute. I just painted it white. I left the metals, some of the metals showing. I did some wet distressing, and then I added some of Roy Cycle's decoupage paper into the little spaces where the photo is supposed to go. And I thought these turned out really, really cute. And this next one is also from Goodwill. I found these two little cute little totes that maybe organizers or something. And I added just some white paint. Wet distressed it back because it also had some good texture. I used IOD, one of IOD's stamps to stamp on the words stuff and things, and a bit of the Saint Germain transfer. And I thought these turned out cute as well. Okay, on to project number 1. I found these really big letters that spelled out the word love at Goodwill. I think they were like $3.29 each maybe. And so I thought the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use up some leftover resin molds, and I am going to use my Titebond Quick and Thick, and I'm just going to add those molds, nothing, just randomly to each letter with the hopes of just giving them a little bit more character. So that's what you see me doing here.
I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now.
Next, I'll be adding a coat, and just one coat of DIY's White Swan. And I'm using the White Swan just kind of like a primer, really, and my base coat before my next paint color comes up.
Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me.
Now on to my next color. And y'all, this is such a pretty pink. This is actually Annie Sloan's Scandinavian pink. And I love this pink color. And I actually used Annie Sloan early on in my early years of starting to paint furniture. And so I am still very much an Annie Sloan paint fan. So I am using Scandinavian pink, and I am going to go over each letter with the Scandinavian pink, and I'm going to do 2 coats on each letter before we move on to our next step.
Let's drive to the open Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand.
With Valentine's Day coming up, I thought nothing more appropriate than pink love letters, right? I mean, I think so. So now I am just going to wet distress. So what you see me doing here, I have a little bit of my wet wipes there, and I'm just going to kind of take some of that pink around the edges away. And once I'm done with that, y'all, now we're going to do some crackle. We're going to do crackled pink love letters. So I'm using PintArt's two-step crackle this time. And as long as I've had this, I've never used it. So we're going to put down the first of the component number 1. And it's kind of like a glue, as you can see here. It's kind of like a glue. And I'm just putting it on in this crosshatch motion so that when I start to evidence or to bring my cracks through, you know, I kind of want them to just be random. So I'm just going to go over each letter with the component number 1 of the PintArt two-step crackle, and I'm going to let it dry before I go on to component number 2.
Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air.
And yes, even though I don't expect crackle over the molds, I went over everything with the crackle, both 1 and 2. So this is component number 2, and it is a lot thinner than component number 1. And you want to make sure when you're using this crackle medium that you get component number 2 over every space that you put component number 1, because component number 1 is sticky, and so you don't want to leave that sticky residue there. So I'm just going over all of the letters with component number 2 because component number 1 is now fully dry. Once component number 2 is also dry, now with this two-step crackle, you have to have something that will help you to be able to evidence your crackle. In other words, you have to be able to put something down that's going to be dark enough to bring your crackle through. And so I am using here, I think it is some PintArt, maybe some umber, I think it's umber, aging wax. And so that's what you see me putting on here to bring that crackle through. Now, one thing I did not do and that I should have done is I should have watered it down some because it's kind of thick. But anyway, I did. I put that that aging medium all over, and then I just took another shop towel and wiped it back. And I did see the crackle, but I think with this darker color pink, it wasn't as much as I would have liked to see. But I did get the crackle. It is there. And it actually, in the end, I think it turned out really pretty.
With the wind blowing in your hair, we can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one?
All right, y'all, with every letter finished, here is a look back at our love letters, just plain and black, but still pretty. And here is the finished product. Now, if you're wondering why one side of that O is darker, that is because, y'all, I put the aging wax on before I put the crackle on. But I think it turned out really pretty. I think I'm going to add some gold to the molds just to kind of make it stand out a little bit better. All right, on to project number 2. So I am going to combine this little clock that my sister picked up for me at Goodwill. That really doesn't have any hands or anything, and it's kind of a part of this little cage that it's in, with this wire cloche top with butterflies on it. So I just want to combine these two to see if I can make kind of like, to give this cloche a bottom, really. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this clock out of its cage, and all I had to do was just unscrew it and take it out. So I'm not going to be painting it or anything. I'm just going to take the, get my little needle nose pliers, and I'm going to take that little, the hand that holds the hands, that little part out of the middle, and I'm just going to screw that out, and that is, and I'm just going to leave the clock like that. And then I'm going to do a couple things to the cloche and add a couple things on the edge of this clock to camouflage where it would stand inside its cage. So that's what I'm doing here. And just for a test run, I think the cloche fits over the clock pretty good. So I'm going to take off the tag here, and I've already spray painted that cloche white a while back. So it's already spray painted white, and so I really don't need to do anything to it, except I am going to add some color to the butterflies. Just you'll see me doing here, though. I'm taking Debbie's DIY paint, and I am going over the white, and I'm just kind of going up and down the wire and just adding some black, and I'm going to do that both inside and out. And then I'm going to add a little bit of color to the butterflies. But before I do that, y'all, I'm going to go in with IOD's Monarch mold, and I'm going to make a couple of these little butterflies, because what I want to do is I want to camouflage the ends of that clock where the rods would stand off into their cage. So I kind of had this idea that I'm going to cast 4 of these little butterflies, and I'm going to sandwich them together. I'm going to sandwich the rods in between each butterfly so as to make kind of like a little handle on each end of the clock. If that doesn't make sense, y'all, keep watching and you'll see kind of what my thought process was. So this was my idea to camouflage the ends of the clock where the little rods would stand into its cage. So I'm casting my butterfly. I'm going to add some Titebond Quick and Thick, and I did 4 butterflies so that I can put one butterfly underneath the rod and then another butterfly over the top of the rod and kind of sandwich them together. And I had to hold it for a minute because of course, you know, Titebond, I probably could have added some hot glue, but the Titebond needed a minute to set up. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna put my butterfly underneath the rod with the Titebond on it, and then I'm gonna take my other butterfly and I am going to add it over the top of the rod and kind of sandwich it with the bottom butterfly. So that was my thought process. It worked out pretty good, except one of my butterflies on one end kind of got a little bit smushed. The other one turned out pretty good. So keep watching.
Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for 2. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright.
And since I had butterflies on the cloche, I was just wanting to coordinate the butterflies as handles. So I go back and I take a little bit of, I already had this mixture mixed up, y'all, from many projects ago. And of course I put a cap on it so it's still good. So I did a little bit of brushing over that with this mixture. I think it's Liquid Sunshine and Sandy Blonde DIY paint color. And I brushed over the butterflies with this color. And then I also brushed over the butterflies on my little sandwich butterflies as well. And just to give them some color and make them stand out a little bit more. And then I thought, okay, what am I going to put on the clock so that I will have something underneath the cloche? And so this is my crude attempt just to put something. I just had these dollar store flowers, y'all, and I just cut off a few of them and I stuck as many of them as I could get into the hole of this clock. If I had, like a little battery operated candle or something, I think that would also be cute, or maybe some kind of little figurine. So later on, I will probably change it if I come across something else. But for now, y'all, this is just my crude attempt to add something that would go underneath the cloche. And so I added these little dollar store flowers. And then that's it. And this is what it turned out to be. I think it kind of came out kind of cute. I mean, for all the ragtag pulling together that I did. What do y'all think?
Pack our bags and get in that car.
Hey y'all, let's move on to project number 3, and maybe something a little bit more civilized than whatever that was I did previously. Okay, I got these 2 little glass bottles, y'all. I love things with lids, and I got them at Goodwill. I think they were like $3.29 each, and they're kind of tall and slim, and they had the lids on them. So I thought, okay, cute little bottles, come home with me. I'm going to paint you. So I'm going to start out with some of Pintart's bonding primer. If you're painting glass, you kind of want to make sure that you have some type of bonding agent that will stick to the glass, and then therefore your paint will stick to, so that of course it doesn't come off. So I am using Pintart's bonding primer. I am going to give it 2 coats. That's also recommended if you're using a chalk paint, that you do 2 coats of your bonding primer. So I'm going to be doing 1 coat vertically and 1 coat horizontally on both of these little jars.
Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
I am finally getting a chance to use IOD's Ginger and Spice molds, y'all. These are the cutest little gingerbread family. I just think they are so cute. And I don't know why I haven't used them before. I guess, I don't know. Sometimes a project comes along and you know that this particular project is made for this particular mold. And so I think they were made perfectly, or were made specifically for these tall, slim jars. So I'm just flouring up. It's not really, it is kind of baking powder. You know, most people use, that they don't use baking powder, but that's all I had. So I'm using my baking powder, and I am going to press my molds in. I'm going to press my clay into my molds, and I'm just going to be using the gingerbread boy and girl, not the little kids. But this mold is so cute, y'all. If y'all haven't seen this mold, I think it's from, I don't know if it's from last year or the year before. But if you're interested in any IOD stuff, y'all, you can go to my website. It's www.pecanporchboutique.com. I do have some of these in stock. So I've added my clay to my molds, and now I'm just going to pull it back with my fingers. I am an over clayer, y'all. I put way too much clay in. I do. And then I lose, sometimes I lose sight of my image. But I finally pulled back all of the excess clay and found my little image. And now I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to let gravity help me bring it out. And look at her. She is just adorable. Yep, this must be Ginger.
Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you. on the road with a couple.
I have let both coats of my PinTart bonding primer dry. I let the first coat dry before I put on the second coat, and now the second coat is dry. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my Tight Bond Quick and Thick to add my ginger and spice boy and girl to each bottle.
Bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing in.
You want to make sure that you press your mold down really well in each little corner, each little crevice. Not hard, of course, you don't want to distort the image, but make sure you press it down really well. And also make sure that as it dries, you come back and check it and press it down more in case it's starting to lift up in places. This is air dry clay, and the nature of air dry clay is to shrink once it starts to dry. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm kind of still on the fence, y'all, as to whether to paint my clay while it's wet or after it's dry. I've done both, but I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence as to which is better. So now I'm coming in with my Sandy Blonde. This is DIY paint. And so that I don't get any brush strokes, I am going to be using a tapping motion. And I'm going to completely cover the bottle and my mold with the Sandy Blonde. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to do that to each bottle. And I'm going to give it 2 coats.
Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life.
And yes, on this particular project, I did let my molds dry first before I came back in and painted them. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you do? Do you paint your mold while they're wet, or do you wait until they're dry and paint them? I think painting them while they're wet may stop them from cracking, but it really doesn't stop them from shrinking. So, I don't know. I'm interested. What do you guys do?
Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday.
All right, y'all. And I guess I was not finished with that crackle after all. We're going back and we're going to use more of that PinTart 2-step crackle. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to start out with component number 1. The paint is dry. I'm going to put it all over the bottle, including my little gingerbread people, even though I don't expect crackle on them. No, actually, I did not put it on my gingerbread people. I just put it all over the bottle. So I'm going to go back in, still using that crosshatch motion, so that once I start to bring out my crackle, it will be just kind of random. And I just think that gives it a little bit more character.
Bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Let's get out. We can leave.
Component number 1 is fully dry, and this is component number 2, y'all. And I'm just going over every place that I put that component number 1.
Your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. what's been on my mind. Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city light.
Now this time to bring out my crackle, I decided to use DIY's Dark and Decrepit. Dark and Decrepit is this really cool patina that can be used as a stain and a sealer, and it's a lot thinner than the medium, wax medium that I was using earlier. And so, and I did give it a little bit of water down, and I'm just going to put it all over the bottle, and including, I think I dry brushed it across my little gingerbread people as well. And I am just going to bring out my crackle using this Dark and Decrepit rather than the aging wax that I used earlier.
Hey darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey darling, you know what.
And here's a first look at the crackle. It did turn out really pretty, y'all. So let's take a look back at where these began. Just some clear, skinny bottles, but they had lids. And let's take a look at where they have come. Oh my gosh, y'all, I really fell in love with this little boy and girl. And these bottles turned out so cute. I did add some of DIY's little black dress to the lids and some of the features on each of the little boy and girl. So I hope you like them too. I really did like them. All right, you guys, for our fourth and final project, this is a shell trio that I picked up at Goodwill. My sister got me that really giant shell that you see back there. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to go on a deep sea dive, and I'm going to finish all these shells in this one project. So project number 4 has 3 projects within the project. So I'm going to start off with this little shell here. It hangs on the wall, and it's wood. I am going to be using DIY's Hay Sailor, and I am going to be giving it 2 coats of the Hay Sailor. Hay Sailor is this really deep blue that is so pretty. So that's what you see me doing here. Brushing on the Hay Sailor.
Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city light. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now.
I did not paint over the little wood area that's kind of at the bottom of it, because I just thought that was a cute addition to it. But I did pull out some pieces of IOD's Lost Garden, and I just kind of cut them up, random little pieces, and I'm going to be adding those because I've already sealed this with IOD's liquid patina. I'm sorry, not IOD, DIY's liquid patina, and so it's already been sealed, it's dry. And I'm going to add these little bits of the Lost Garden transfer by IOD to this shell. So that's what I'm doing here. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you who tune in to my videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, for your support. I'm just overwhelmed by how many people have joined my channel, and who think that what I do is valuable. So if you are new, I would really appreciate it if you may think about subscribing to my channel. And if you like what I've done here tonight, please leave me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I always try to respond to the comments, and I'm always interested in hearing what you think about the projects that I've done. So I'm going to finish up this shell here. I am adding, again, the Lost Garden transfer in bits and pieces. And let's see what that looks like once I'm done.
Get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
All right, I did not forget to show you guys the finished project, but I'm just going to show them all together as I showed them all together the before. So we're going to move on and start with this silver shell that I picked up at Goodwill also. I'm not sure. I must have been in some kind of, I don't know, Seaside mind frame when I was picking up shells at Goodwill. But this one was silver, and so I decided to go over it with DIY's little black dress. And then I'm just going to come back and add some of this really pretty turquoisey color from DIY, just in a dry brush style. And that's what you see me doing here. Not really wanting to cover up all of the black, but just leave some of the black showing and just add this turquoisey color for, you know, a pop of color. I always like to add pops of color. So that's what this is. This is just a pop of color. And this is, what is the name of this? I cannot remember. Sea glass. That is sea glass that I'm using, y'all.
Yeah, the countryside is so pretty. With the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car.
All right, for our final shell in this trio, this is the really big shell that my sister got me, and I think she got it at Goodwill as well. I think she paid $9.99 for it, but I think it was discount day. All of my projects from Goodwill usually come from discount day, y'all. I be getting my senior discount nowadays. So anyway, I'm going back in with Scandinavian pink. This is the Annie Sloan pink that I love so much. And I'm going to give this shell 2 coats of the Annie Sloan pink. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to come back in with my baby wipes. And once again, I'm going to do some wet distressing to pull back some of the white that was the original color.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
So this huge shell already had a lot of texture on it, which made it kind of easy when I was going back and doing the wet distress. So it kind of gave me these little bumps all over it, kind of gave me a place to go and pull off that paint, because it came off really easy along those bumpy spots. So that's what you see me doing here with my little baby wipe. I'm just doing wet distressing, random wet distressing just to pull back some of that white and not have so much of that pink showing.
Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling.
And you saw me hold up those bits of transfer a moment ago. These are bits and pieces from IOD's Saint Germain transfer. So I'm going to be adding the Saint Germain transfer in bits and pieces all over this big shell. Now again, I have gone in and sealed it with DIY's liquid patina. I just tend to seal first. They do go on all over unsealed surfaces, but it really makes it a lot easier if the surface is sealed. So I'm just going to be adding bits and pieces of the Saint Germain transfer all over this shell.
Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
All right, y'all, let's take a look back at where we started with this shell trio. Just kind of plain, you know, they were shells. And now let's take a look at where they have come. I think they turned out really cute, y'all. My feeble attempt once again to add flower arrangements, but I did add white wax to the larger shell, and I think they all turned out kind of cute. I don't know, I'm kind of loving on these shells. I hope y'all like it too. Thank you guys once again for watching. I always appreciate it. Please leave me a comment and a thumbs up if you liked it. Until then, and until next time, don't forget to bud, bloom, and be unique.